I'm out of breath.
Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am showing you how to achieve that perfect Insta filter base. And this is video 2 in my how-to series, so I hope you enjoy the video. Let's talk complexion. Let's talk about this perfect base and let me show you how to achieve it. My little, it's not really a secret, but what I like to do in order to achieve flawless glowing skin but full coverage is always skin prep. Now when I say this, I'm not saying I want to go out and buy all these crazy creams that I don't really necessarily know what they use for, if you know what I mean. I'm just simple with my skin, because as I've learned in the past, when I start buying all these creams and using all these liquid exfoliators and all this just
Crazy stuff,
my skin reacts and it's almost kind of like,
whoa, you're in like, oh wait, whoa.
I won't necessarily say I get breakouts, but my skin just goes dry as hell and I'm just not into all that. So this is my very simple skin prep. My skin type is combination, and that's where I have a mixture of dry skin and oilier skin in different areas. So my skin is dry here, but then oilier like in my T-zone area. Your T-zone area is here, the middle of your forehead and like around your smile lines, like just like this whole bit, and that's where I'm oilier than everywhere else. And I say it the way I've just said oilier because I'm not oily at all. I just get a little bit more glowy in the centre than I do anywhere else. That's why I say that. I always use this moisturiser, always, and it's the aloe vera moisturiser by Vaseline. And then I also like to go in and apply like a face mist, that being either my Caudalie Beauty Elixir, which I absolutely love, or the Hangover 3-in-1 spray. This is just, I thought it to be fancy and got a watermelon one, so I did. The packaging's also lovely, but yeah, or the 3-in-1 hangover spray. This has got coconut water in it, so it's going to really just help refresh your skin even more and just give you that boost. And the fact it smells like watermelon is also just a benefit in it. I've already applied my moisturiser, so I'm not going to apply any more. And all I simply do with this, just mist it over my face. I don't really like to use primer just because I've never really found one that works for me. So I just don't really see the point in spending money on them,
In my opinion.
So for foundation, I am just going to take my 2 favourite foundations, which is the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Warm Beige and the Maybelline 24 Hour Superstay in Warm Sun. So how I like to apply my foundation is with my favourite brush ever, which is the NYX Professional Makeup Brush in the shade. And the number I believe is 04. And what I love the most about it is the shape of it. So as you can see, it's almost like a dual fibre brush, but it's dense, like it's so dense. Not dense enough where it's gonna soak up all your product and move it around. It's just dense enough to really pack everything on. It gives the same effect as a flat top foundation brush, but because it's a dual fibre where the bristles go thinner at the tip, it just really helps spread the product out even more. These bristles basically stop the brush from soaking up all the product. And before people wonder, do you use a beauty blender, do you use a brush? My answer every time is a brush. Like, I use a brush for concealer, I use a brush for sometimes applying moisturisers. I'm just a brush girl, like, that's just my personal opinion. I've just not had very good experiences with a sponge, but everyone's different, and my little way to achieve what I achieve is using a brush.
Where's it going? It's right in front of me.
So I'm going to take this one first, which is the Maybelline 24 Hour Superstay. So because it's running low and I've had to top off, I've just got a brush and just started to kind of get products out the tube. I'm just going to start to like apply this like that over my skin, and then I'll blend it in with my brush, press it into my skin. So the same kind of motions you would use with a beauty blender, you know, when you bounce it into your skin, I'm doing that with a brush. And I'm just spreading it around my face. The reason why I like to mix it, I've not mixed it yet, but when I do, is because this foundation is matte and I'll prefer a dewy finish. So I'm literally not swiping at all, I'm just pressing in. Then when it gets to my chin and my jawline, I'm just gonna start to drag that down. So this foundation does look lighter because I tanned last night and I've not washed it off yet. And then when I go in and cream contour, everything's gonna like bronze itself up anyway. So now just putting some of the Born This Way, like 1.5 pumps into that mixture in my hand. And I'm just gonna apply this to my face the same way. One thing I love about this Born This Way is a little bit goes a long way. Take my foundation brush again and just start to bounce this in. Now I'm gonna go in with cream contour. Now, cream contour is almost like a taboo to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are kind of scared of it, but it's not as difficult as you think. What I like to do is go in with the Born This Way Super Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Mocha. And I always like to start off with my forehead because it's not a secret to anyone. I've got a large forehead and I like to make that look smaller. I'm just going to start to apply it with the wand. Just like 3 stripes to either side. Just going just above my tail of my brow. And then I like to take the same brush I use my foundation and then push and blend this into the skin just so it looks like this. And then I'm going to start to really blend it into that foundation. And I'm basically doing this motion, so I'm pressing, pushing, flicking, blur the lines, move the product around to the center of my forehead, and then you see that's just started to add a bit of definition, so you can see where the hollow of my cheekbone is. I am just going to apply it just above, just 2 little dots, maybe 3. And the third one to like my apple. And the way I'm going to blend this in, I'm going to take the same foundation brush, I'm going to start to blur the lines, blending it up, and then start to smile, and then start to blend it in. So the reason I like to apply it higher than my hollow of my cheekbone is because when you're blending it in, it's going to naturally blend lower anyway. And you do not want your cream contour going below your line. Now when it comes to cream contour, you can use anything. You don't have to use anything in particular. You can use a darker concealer shade like I do. You can use darker foundation, which I sometimes do. You can use them Krylon TV paint sticks. Or don't overcomplicate it. All you're doing is bronzing and adding definition. Same way you do a powder. Don't think you have to go switch your formula just to do a certain thing on your face. And when it comes to like my nose, I just kind of like to use whatever's left on the brush and just bronze over the top of it. I also like to take a little bit on my chin and then a little bit on my jawline as well. Because I've got a large chin area, this is just going to make it appear a lot shorter. And then this along here is just literally getting rid of my double chin. And now I like to go in with concealer. So again, is a Super Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Pearl by Too Faced. I like to focus this shade right here, like right in the centre, on my chin and here on my forehead. And let me tell you, if you're interested in buying these concealers, a tiny bit goes such a long way. And I'm going to mix it with Warm Beige. I'm just going to start to drag this up towards my temples. And to blend that in, I'm going to use this Jaclyn Hill little concealer brush in the shade JH08. And I'm just going to start to bounce this into my skin in the centre. And then I'm going to start to drag it out. And then once I've done that, I just like to take my foundation brush and just blend everything else together. Then to blend that edge, I'm just going to take a little bit more of that cream contour colour and just start to kind of go around the edge of it. But I also like to apply it just here. And that's just, oh, ghost. And that's just gonna really just start to enhance my contour and just bring these cheekbones to life. For powder, everyone's got like, it's like a brush and a sponge. Everyone's got their own personal preference, but I just love me a pressed powder. And the powder I love to use is the Rimmel London Stay Matte. I'm not going to go into this, I've gone into it in other videos, but it's just never done me wrong. On this little brush, and then put my chin down and look up into a mirror and just start to press it in. The reason I prefer a pressed powder over loose, right, so anyone who knows me knows when I do makeup or just in general, like when I'm doing something, I just like make a mess.
It's something I'm working on, okay? Like, I'm working on it.
But the work doesn't look a mess, but my station, but yeah, so I just feel like with a loose powder, she's just a little bit messy for me. She's just a little bit. My compact, it stays in one place, and it doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't get on me. I don't get like, yeah. I'm just a compact girl. Yes, they do the same look. Yes, loose powder isn't as intense as pressed powder, but I'm just a full coverage queen, and pressed powder is just, pressed powder is just a bit of me.
I just want to be me.
I'm a pressed powder kind of girl, what can I say? And then for the rest of my face, I'm just gonna take just a big powder brush and just dust it here. And that's it. I don't like to apply too much powder to my side of my face because, as I said earlier, that's where it gets drier. But I just kind of like to feel like my makeup's set in them areas. It's gonna take a little bit in the centre of my forehead as well. Now, for the fun part, which is bronzing. I'm not really a contour kind of girl. I just kind of like to bronze as if I'm contouring, or use my bronzer for a contour. Right, so my favourite drugstore one is one by Collection, but I just haven't had the chance to get that since this whole quarantine. And whatever I had left, I was cleaning my makeup drawers out the other day and it just cracks all over the floor. I decided to go back into my other favourite bronzer, which is the Morphe Glam Bronze in the shade Megastar, and it just looks like this. I'm gonna take, I always like to start on my forehead. I want to appear smaller, so the way I like to do it is take it to the highest point in my forehead, and again I'm just pressing over that cream contour. I'm not dragging it, I'm not doing anything other than pressing it on top of that cream contour, because I don't want to move the product underneath. And then whatever's left from the brush, I'm just going to start to gradually move towards the centre of my forehead. Now when it comes to my cheekbone, I'm doing the same kind of thing, where I angle the brush on top of the cream, setting it in place, and then using very, very light motions, I'm just going to almost start to buff it into the skin. And I'm also going to do a little smile as well. And then when it comes to my jawline, I just almost like to just drag it. But then again, I'm only ever so slightly feathering it. I'm not. The lighter you are, the less chance you have of moving the products underneath. Don't overthink it, just let your brushes do the work for you. They are the shape they are for a reason, so don't overcomplicate it. And now my other favourite part is blush. So now that's on, it's very subtle, but I just love a bit more pink. And I'm gonna go in to Mr. H and then mix it a little bit with this Morning Glory. Because I've used Morning Glory on my eye, I want to kind of tie it together. And then I'm going to start the apples and work my way up. But that shine you can see is from the Miaellamakeup product. And now I'm just going to take my favourite blusher by Too Faced and just kind of go over the top of that and just start to kind of take this on just above my brow and my temples. So for highlighter, as you can see, my cheeks are already pretty glowy. But when it comes to a night out or when it comes to an Instagram look, I always love this part to be highlighted. And I just love my skin to just look really glowy. Now in person, if I was doing a makeup look to say go to work or maybe go on a shopping day out with a few drinks with my friends or whatever, like I wouldn't use a lot of highlighter just because my skin, one, my skin's gonna get dewier throughout the day, and two, in person, using too much highlight, it can almost age you a little bit. It can almost like highlight the wrong things, if you know what I mean. What I love about this Epic highlighter by Miaellamakeup is the bronziness of it. Well, it's so soft as well. Like on the skin, it just almost like melts in and it's just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take this again on my blush brush. I'm going to focus it up here, a little bit up here, and on my nose and on my chin. And then I'm going to go in and just blend everything together. What I love about these highlighters is they're not too intense. Let me tell you, this product in pictures, amazing. So then when I've done an Instagram look, I almost kind of like to tie everything together. I always kind of like to go in with, if I've used a shimmer, I'd like to go in that and just kind of incorporate that somehow into my my highlight and some stuff that's going on my cheek. So from this palette, on my eyes, I've used Miaellamakeup and Muffin, which are these two shades here. Now I'm gonna take it on my finger. I'm gonna take Miaellamakeup and Muffin, mix them together, and then apply it on my very tip of my cheekbone, which is here. Same on this side, on my nose, and on my cube as well. So that's just like a little extra step. Like if you're feeling a little bit extra and you want to kind of tie everything together, then that's what you can do. And then once I've kind of done everything on my base, I like to go in again with a spray. This, I'm just gonna kind of use this spray today, which is the Hangover 3-in-1, like to kind of set everything in place. So this is the finished look. Please follow me on Instagram. I'll leave everything linked down below. If you want to see the finished result pictured, then this will be on the gram. I will leave the link down below. Show you girls some love, hit the subscribe button. This is my second video in my how-to series, and yeah, I just hope you enjoyed the video.